Good afternoon. Practical. 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 I only want you to remember one thing about my talk, and that this is going to be an extremely practical talk for your people. If I was sitting where you're sitting, I'd be saying, I need to know some things that will help my people get more done, that they can apply right away. And those members, those chapter members will say, this is the most practical thing I've ever been through. Let me get to know you a little bit. I am Mike Song. I've written this book, The Hamster Revolution. It is an international bestseller available in 12 languages because it's practical. How many people here use Outlook? Just a quick raise of the hands. Quite a few. That's typically what I see when I work with chapters. How many people are BlackBerry users here? All right, terrific. I've got an invitation for you. On many of the tables, I put some free BlackBerry tips. I have some free Outlook tips in the back at my table outside, so please come out and visit me. I'd love to be linked by you. These are tips that can help you get more done. Is anyone here someone that I've helped with BlackBerry? Could you just clap if I've helped you out? Okay. You who clapped right there have an obligation to spread those ideas to everybody else who's using BlackBerry. But I'll help, okay? So visit me afterwards. Real quickly. Why am I here? Over and over again, in organization after organization, I have seen this. The overload of information. We're getting more than we can humanly process. That's why we called our book The Hamster Revolution. People are running in place. They're just doing more and more email. They're sending out, more comes in. This is not the optimal situation for getting more work done. And what is it all about? It all comes down to this information flowing through our lives, flowing through Outlook, flowing through Gmail, flowing through our BlackBerries and our iPhones. Here's the really interesting thing. Most of us get our phones, we use them. Do we really get into that instruction manual and find out all the shortcuts, the tips, the tricks that are going to make us faster at what we do? And the answer is no. But the really amazing thing about this, if you turn your focus on information upside down and really focus on it just for a half day or a 1-hour session, you'll really be amazed at how much time you'll save. People report saving 15 days a year on average from these workshops that we do. And that turns into dollars for you. And for those of you that I've talked about sales techniques, there's a lot of sales techniques that are underutilized for people who are communicating with clients. What I'm going to try to do for your people is to save you 15 days a year, as I said. You might want to think of me as the new or extreme time management expert, because there's a lot of time management myths, like get your inbox down to 0 every day. How many people here get their inbox down to 0 every day? Just raise your hand. Okay? So a percentage of us do. How many people would find that difficult to do? Okay. So it's very important for me as an expert to come in and say, now for some people that's going to be a big challenge. And I'll help you focus on priorities versus processing every message, because many of those messages are low priority messages. Next thing that I'm going to help you do is help you communicate in a nanosecond. When you're trying to get your point across, if people don't understand exactly what you need to do, guess what happens? They fumble with that message. They put it aside. They reread it. They ask you for some clarification. Deadlines get missed. Things get slowed down. And last but not least, freeing up time helps you carve out time for the people that you care about, the people that you really love and want to spend that time with. So this is a big part. We're not just freeing up time so you can spend more time just working yourself into an early grave. We want you to be able to carve out time for the things that matter most in life. I'm a data-driven person. So every time we work with a group, we do a 5-minute pre-training survey. So when we come in, we know what that group is. We know how they feel about time management, what their challenges are. For example, we know that 83% of all the 30,000 people we've surveyed feel their colleagues often overutilize reply to all. Raise your hand if you feel your colleagues often overutilize reply to all. That's time ticking away. What if they back that down by 25%? We'll show you how to get other people to do what you need to do. And by the way, only 10% of the people in the world feel that they themselves overutilize reply to all. I often receive email with the action buried. Now, if these emails are moving around your organization or if you're sending them and your action is buried, time is ticking. Things aren't getting done. And last but not least, look at this piece of incredible information. 9% of the 30,000 professionals we've surveyed say, guess what? Someone has helped me out with an email tip to make me more productive in the last month. 9%. What if that was 80% in your company, in your members' companies? It'd be a quantum leap difference in productivity. Insight number 1. Anybody here ever see the movie Karate Kid? You've seen it, right? What's this? Just yell it out. Right. It's a defensive move, right? It's a karate move. Well, I'm going to give you a wax on, wax off for information work, and that is send less, get less. And I'm going to try something with you here. I know you have a good sense of humor, and maybe a few of you have had a glass of wine or two. I want you all, I'm going to count to 3. Just do this with me. Send less, get less. Because when we say something, we have a tendency to remember it twice as much than when we hear it, all right? So let's see if you guys are ready to go here. I'll count to 3, and do the motion too, all right? But put the wine down first. 1, 2, 3. Send less, get less. Very good. I felt that. Why? Why is that so important? Because of this, the boomerang effect of email. For every 5 outgoing messages, 3 come back and hit us. Open, read, reply. Open, read, reply. Oh, I'm going to CC. Before you know it, you're playing ping pong. Thank you. You're welcome. No, you're welcome. No, you're really great. No, you're really great, right? You see these games going on in your organizations, and they take up time. So if we can just send 20% fewer messages out into that bloodstream of all that information flow in an organization, and we've done this for 20% of the Fortune 500, you'll see about a 10% reduction in incoming email. And this is the simplest behavioral change. Doesn't cost a lot of money to do, but the benefit to you is reduction in the total amount of low priority email flowing around your organization. And we do this with a simple model called the 1, 2, 3 tool. I won't take you into it now, but it's a very simple, easy to implement concept. People get it, they send less, you get less, and it's a really amazing thing. The other thing that we'll do with you is show you a whole bunch of Outlook email efficiency tips, Lotus Notes, different technologies for different groups that I work with. And I'm very comfortable with all of the different technologies out there, from Gmail to Outlook and so on. So Outlook email efficiency tips will be a big part of it. And interruption management. What is your interruption management strategy? You know, they did a study and they said, look, if you're working on a very big, complex project like this, let's pretend this is my computer screen, right? I'm working away, and all of a sudden, ding, 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 ding. Guess what happens, you know? Something pops up in the corner here, right? A not so important but kind of interesting email. We divert ourselves away from that task. So I'll show you how you can eliminate many, many interruptions from your life. Because what happens when we get back to working, we have some trouble. In the last few minutes that I have, I want to show you a model that's probably been shown to about 1 million people around the world. I'm so excited that every day I get a letter from someone saying, I am now writing in so much more of an effective way. This model we can adjust for different cultures around the world. So don't worry. If you're in Asia, I know you have a more polite, reserved email culture. Okay? So real quickly, the ABC model. First of all, strengthen the subject of every email message that you write. People write messages with vague subject lines. So for example, they might write a message that says, meeting notes. Boring. Who's going to open that? But there's action items in there. How about Project X, Team Y action items? Okay, so we want to have descriptive. Instead of 2 vague words, let's make it 5 or 6 words. Let's precede each one of these descriptive titles with an action category. For example, action, colon, and then your descriptive title. It wakes people up. They realize there is something in there for me to do. Info. There's no action required. That's even easier, right? And finally, request. Great for clients, great for folks that you need to really treat with a lot of respect or care, the gentler form of action. One word buckets that email into the right category in a person's brain and either gets them to act or realize it's a low priority. How many messages do you get with vague subject lines that don't really communicate what needs to be communicated? Now, there's more to this, but I'll go down here to EOM. Everybody say EOM for me. Everybody in the room, EOM. Right, I want you to remember it. End of message, when the subject line is the entire message. You're a busy exec. If you've got 7 words to communicate, put it in the subject line. Person opens their inbox, they don't need to open the email. It's in the subject line. Confirmed, will be at marketing meeting at 2 p.m. EOM. Make sense? That way you're communicating in a more concise fashion, and you don't have to write a vague subject line and a vague body. You write one crisp, clear subject line. Now, strengthen the subject is the first part, right? We're powering up your subject. Second part of this is to sculpt the body. Bring it down. Less is more. Less is more. So what you want to do here, a brief, warm greeting. You don't want to go too long on the greeting because people aren't reading your email. They're skimming it. They're scanning it. They're not going through it in its entirety. Got to remember that. People don't read email anymore. They scan it. So a long preamble will tend to have people tuning out. A is for action summary. This is your key points summarized in one sentence. Bluff. Put your bottom line up front. BLUF. If you do one thing, try this. Summarize. Don't work to a conclusion. Bottom line up front. B is for bulleted background points. I'll show you how to put these in a sequence of step 1, 2, 3. that gets people into your task, gets them completing your task. And finally, C, a concise close with a nice auto-signature, but I want that auto-signature to be set up in a way that works horizontally, not vertically, so it doesn't take up a lot of space in every email you write. If I could ask everybody just to stand up, do one more memorization technique for you, and you probably want to stretch a little bit. If you could stand up. I've been doing this around the world with executives all over the world and professionals, so I appreciate your indulgence here. But you will remember things if you say them. So I'm going to have you do this: strengthen the subject and sculpt the body, and try to say it loud. And when you sit down to do email, I want you to try to do this, okay? I'll count to 3. Everybody ready? It's a great time to bring out your Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation right now, okay? 1, 2, 3. Strengthen the subject and sculpt the body. Great job. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Thank you for your time.